When the ground shifts beneath your feet, picture this. You're standing on solid ground, but somewhere deep inside, you sense a vibration, an oncoming quake. In Judah's day, that tremor was the Assyrian Empire. For you, it might be an uncertain market, an industry disruption, a broken relationship, or an internal crisis you didn't see coming. The temptation in those moments is to scramble, grab for control, gather information, or protect yourself before the walls fall. But Nahum 1:7 invites a different response. It anchors you in three immovable truths. God is good, God is your refuge, and God cares for those who trust Him. If you only remember those words when the storm passes, you've missed their power. They are meant to be the shelter you run into before the first raindrop falls. The fortress you don't build. In the business world, we like to think security comes from the fortresses we build. Strategic plans, deep networks, and financial buffers. And yes, those have value. But history, both ancient and modern, proves one uncomfortable reality. Every man-made fortress can fall. The Hebrew word for refuge in Nahum's verse describes a fortified stronghold. But here's the kicker. It's not one you construct. It's one you enter. The greatest leaders and most grounded people I know have one thing in common. They've chosen their refuge before the battle begins. They've anchored their confidence, not in their own brilliance or resources, but in the goodness of a God who cannot be overrun. That doesn't mean they're passive. It means they're operating from stability rather than desperation. When was the last time you examined your own fortress? Is it built on the rock or on whatever happened to feel safe this quarter? The character that doesn't shift. God's goodness isn't mood-dependent. It doesn't ebb with the economy or flow with public opinion. In the Hebrew, Tov speaks of moral perfection and inherent kindness. It's not just that God does good. He is good. Leaders who forget this often lead reactively, making decisions to relieve pressure rather than to pursue what's truly right. In life and business, your own goodness will be tested. Not in the easy times, but when the stakes are high, the deadlines are crushing, or the temptation to cut corners looms. This is where the parallel kicks in. Just as Judah was called to trust God's goodness in a destabilized world, you are called to reflect that same steadiness in environments that reward short-term wins over long-term integrity. People follow those whose character doesn't shift with the winds. Be that leader in your home, in your company, in your circle of influence. The kind of care that knows your name. God cares for those who trust in Him. In the original language, cares for means more than polite concern. It means knows intimately. It's the difference between a manager who knows your employee ID number and one who knows your story, your strengths, and your struggles. In your own sphere, ask yourself, do you simply oversee, or do you truly know? Do you notice only when performance dips? Or do you recognize the quiet, consistent contributions that don't make headlines? God's model of leadership is profoundly personal. He doesn't just watch over His people from a distance. He walks with them through the valleys. In both relationships and business, people thrive under leaders who lead like that. When trust feels risky. Let's be real. Trust doesn't always feel safe, especially when circumstances scream otherwise. Judah had every reason, humanly speaking, to put their hope in alliances, armies, and political maneuvering. You have every reason to lean on spreadsheets, market forecasts, and what's worked before. But the truth of Nahum 1:7 is a paradox. Security doesn't come from tightening your grip. It comes from loosening it into the hands of the only one who doesn't change. This is the sharp edge of the challenge. Will you operate from trust when trust feels dangerous? Will you choose the long-term shelter of God's character over the short-term adrenaline of self-reliance? The takeaway for life and leadership. Whether you're navigating a personal storm or steering an organization through market uncertainty, the principles are the same. God is good. Let His unchanging nature define your decisions, not your circumstances. God is your refuge. Run to Him before the battle, not after you've exhausted every other option. God cares for those who trust Him. Lead and live with that same intentional personal care. In a world obsessed with building stronger walls, sometimes the wisest move is to step into the one fortress that's already unshakable. That's where you find the confidence to lead, the resilience to endure, and the compassion to lift others when the ground beneath them starts to move. Because here's the truth. Storms will come, markets will shift, people will fail. But the one who is good, who is your refuge, and who cares for you, He doesn't move.